I won't make up when we dated, cause I thought you liked me more. If I looked like the other prom queens, that found someone more exciting, the next second you were gone. You left me there crying, wondering what I did wrong. Do you think I loved you too much to be used and discarded? Do you think I loved you too much to think I... Alright, for this song we won't need a capo, so it'll be an open standard guitar tuning. We will be learning a picking pattern called Travis style picking, which you heard in the intro. And we will be learning 2 separate chord progressions, but each of those chord progressions will only use 3 chords that are super simple from the key of G. Let's get started. We will start off with a G major chord. This will have your ring finger on the 3rd fret of the low E, and your middle finger on the 2nd fret of the A string. And normally this G will have your pinky on the 3rd fret of the high E, but the picking pattern won't be using the high E string, so you don't need to worry about that. From there, we'll go to an E minor chord, which will have our middle finger on the 2nd fret of the A, and our ring finger on the 2nd fret of the D. Last but not least is a C major chord. This will have our ring finger on the 3rd fret of the A, middle finger on the 2nd fret of the D, and pointer finger on the 1st fret of the B. For Travis style picking, we're going to have our thumb on the root of the chord. So for the G and the E minor, that will be on the low E string, and for the C major, that'll be on the A string. And our thumb will be kind of bouncing between the root of the chord and the D string. Then our pointer and middle will be on the G and B strings, and it'll sound a little like this. So what's going to happen, we'll strike with our thumb on the low E. We'll move our thumb up to the D string, and we'll strike with our thumb and our middle finger at the same time. Then our thumb on the low E, then pointer on the G, then thumb on the D, and then middle finger on the B string. And now really slow, that didn't really make much sense, but if you speed it up a little bit, you can kind of hear the flow and the groove and how it works. And this picking pattern is so important in lots of different genres of music, so I encourage you to learn it, lock it in, take it slow at first, and slowly speed it up so you can get the hang of it. And the 2 chord progressions we're going to learn today are very similar. The first will go from a G to an E minor to a C, and then stay on the C for one more. And the second chord progression will go from a G to an E minor to a C and back to a G. So the first chord progression will sound like this. And the second will sound like this. And now we're ready to learn the actual song. Hold up, we'll get started in a second. I have one question for you. Why the heck aren't you subscribed yet? Barely any of you guys are subscribed to these videos, and I'm putting out lots of content that I know you guys would love. Olivia Rodrigo content, there's a ton more in the description. And if you want to learn Joshua Bassett songs, I got a whole playlist of those up in the top right corner, alright? You should learn those. Subscribe. You'll find weekly content on Thursdays at 5:30 p.m. Central Time. Come on, subscribe. It's for your own good. Otherwise, let's get back in the video. Here we go. For the intro of the song, we're going to play the first chord progression, the one that goes G, E minor, C, C, 2 times before going into the first verse. For the first verse, we're going to play the first chord progression 8 times total, and for the second verse, we're going to play the first chord progression 4 times. So an example in the verse will sound like this. I won't make up when we dated, cause I thought you liked me more. If I looked like the other prom queens that I know you loved before. Tried so hard to be everything that you liked, just for you to say you're not the compliment type. And there at the end for transitions, you can kind of just play and hold and let it ring for a little bit of emphasis. Then into the chorus, we're going to be using the second chord progression that goes from G to E minor to C and back to G. For the first chorus, we'll play it 5 times, and for the second, we'll play it 4 times. So a chorus will sound like this. You found someone more exciting, the next second you were gone. And you left me there crying, wondering what I did wrong. You always say I'm never satisfied, but I don't think that's true. 'Cause all I ever wanted was to be enough for you. All I ever wanted was to be enough for you. And for the interlude, the section between the first chorus and the second verse, you're going to play 2 cycles of the picking pattern on a G chord before going into verse 2. Then after chorus 2, we're going to head into the bridge, and for the bridge, we're going to play the second chord progression 3 times, followed by the first chord progression once, and it'll sound like this. Do you think I loved you too much to be used and discarded? Do you think I loved you too much to think I deserve nothing? But don't tell me you're sorry, boy. Feel sorry for yourself. 'Cause someday I'll be everything to somebody else. And just like before, on that final C, you're just gonna pick and let ring for a little bit of emphasis before the final chorus. And the final chorus is going to be switched up a little bit. We're going to start off by playing 2 cycles of the first chord progression, followed by 2 cycles of the second chord progression, and lastly, 2 cycles of the first chord progression before going into an outro. So the last chorus will sound like this. They'll think that I am so exciting, and you'll be the one who's crying. You always say I'm never satisfied, but I don't think that's true. You say I'm never satisfied, but that's not me, it's you. 'Cause all I ever wanted was to be enough, but I don't think anything could ever be enough. Then into the outro, we're going to play the first chord progression twice, and then we'll end on a G chord. For you, enough for you. No, nothing's enough for you. And now you should know how to play the entire song. So, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you to all of you who have already subscribed, and if you haven't, I would hope that you would right now. So subscribe, go down there. Also, like the video if you did enjoy it. I would really appreciate that. You can check out my original music in that top right corner. But otherwise, I hope you guys have a fantastic day. I'll see you later.